Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be taking a quick look at the Ncat tool, which is similar to Ncat, except it's the Nmap team's implementation of it, and it comes with several advanced features that the other tool doesn't have. In its simplest form, it can make a raw TCP connection, and it can also pass basically any stream that you send it to another computer or receive one, which you'll see in our examples in just a moment. So to get started with it, the first thing you'll need to do is install it, and you can do that with sudo apt install ncat, and I already have it installed. So the first thing we can do with Ncat is make raw TCP connections to ports on servers. And a good use for that is to verify findings, such as if you do an nmap scan. So if we run nmap against one of my servers, give it a second to complete. If we scroll up, we can see that we have port 22 open, SSH, and we have port 43 open, Nginx, and 9001. So we can confirm the findings on these if we open up another window, and we can do ncat server 03, and then the port that we want to check. So 22, we can confirm that it's SSH. We can try 443. We can confirm that this one is Nginx, and then we can take a look at 9001 also. See if there's anything on that. And that one's not returning anything. Besides making connections, Ncat can also listen for connections. So if we clear out of here, we can do ncat/l, which will have it listen. And if we do sudo ss lpnt, enter our password, and then make this a little larger for you, we can come down here and we can see that Ncat is listening by default on all listening interfaces and on port 31337, so elite. So with this listening, we can use another Ncat session to connect to it. But first, let's put it into verbose mode so you can see the connection. And then we'll use Ncat again. Specify the host that you want to connect to. And since we're using the default port, we don't need to specify the port. And you see we have a connection from the local host, and then we can talk back and forth. So we can say, hey, I'll switch. What's up? And then some random text, and you can see that it passes it back and forth. So with this information, let's go ahead and try something a little more interesting. So I'm gonna end that session, and I'm going to SSH into one of my servers. So server 04. So on the host machine, I am going to pass a file to it, and we're going to transfer it over to my server. So I'm going to change directory into devshum, and you can see here that I have test.txt, and if I cat it out, you can see this is some sample text, more sample text, and the final line of sample text. So we're going to use ncat. And we are going to connect to that server, so server 04, and then we are going to pipe in the test.txt. Oops, I need to start the listener first on the server, so we're going to use ncat, and then listen, and pipe it out to, we'll call it out.txt, and then we'll rerun this. And then over here on the server, you can see that I now have out.txt, and I can cat it, and you can see there's my text. So that's how you transfer a file. You can also pass files directly into a text editor or a pager. So for example, we can do ncat/listen and pipe it into less. And then we can use ncat server 4. Actually, we'll do cat etc passwd, pipe that into that. And then you can see over here on the server, we've passed it directly into less and we can view the file. The next thing we can do is we can actually copy over entire hard drives or disk images from it. So here on the server, I have, let's see, dev SDB. So I have dev SDB and it's a 1 GB disk. So I can do dd input file is equal to dev SDB, and then pipe that into Ncat going to 192.168.1.3. And then I need to start my listener first. So we're going to do ncat/listen, and then we're going to pipe that into dd, and then the output file is going to be dev shem, and we'll call it out.dd. And then we'll start that on the server. And of course, I need sudo to read that file. So we're going to use sudo bang bang, enter the password. It's going to take just a moment for it to copy over to my computer. Now that it's copied over, we can use sudo md5 sum on dev SDB, let that calculate, and then we can use sudo md5 sum on out dot, if I can type, out.dd. Let that calculate. And you can see that the hard drive is cryptographically the same. So it made a perfect copy of it. So one important note is to know that by default, all of this is happening in clear text. So anything you pass between the two computers, anybody sniffing on the wire will be able to see it. So if we open up Wireshark and we start a capture here on ETH1, and then we do a ncat/l and ncat server 04, and we do test, password equals password, username equals user, and then we stop the capture, and then we filter for our connection. And we follow the TCP stream. You can see everything that we sent over Ncat is in clear text. So test, password equals password, and username equals user. So in order to avoid that, we want to use the tac SSL option in Ncat. So let's go ahead and start a new capture. So we'll continue without saving. We'll use tac SSL. Clear this out, tac SSL. Need to hit enter to actually start it. And then we'll do test, password equals password, username equals user. And then we'll come back over here and stop the capture. And then we will filter for TCP port equals 3133337 and take a look at it. And now you can see that it's using TLS 1.3. So if we do another follow TCP stream, you can see everything that we sent is now encrypted. The last thing I want to show you is how to pass a bash shell over Ncat. So on our workstation here, we're going to use ncat/listen. And over here on the server, we're going to use ncat tac exec, and then /bin/bash. And then we're going to connect back to our workstation. And if I can spell that right. And over here, it's going to look like nothing happened, but if I do an ls, you can see the file. If I do a who am I, you can see that I'm Nathan. And if I do a host name, you can see that I'm on server 4. So I do have a shell. It's just not showing you a PS1 because I don't have one because we have a raw bash connection. So if not having a proper PS1 bothers you, we can always upgrade to a proper shell by using this command. We can use Python 3, import pty, pty.spawn, we're going to use bin bash, and it will upgrade us to a proper shell. What I showed you today just scratches the surface of what you can actually do with Ncat, but if you want to learn more, I would direct you to their man page, which is very well put together. So we can do man Ncat, and when you scroll through here, you can see what all of the options are. And if you jump down to examples, they also give you examples of how to use the commands and what's possible with them. So that's a quick look at Ncat. Remember, if you found this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you.